Taylor Swift has gas problems. Now, Alex brought this story to our attention. Alex, do you know the details of this so we can give our comments on it?
I know a little bit of detail
Okay.
here. So there was some sort of backlash maybe about 2 weeks ago because Kylie Jenner, or one of the Jenners, took their jet on a 10-minute ride. And people were furious.
Yes.
Now, people don't understand that when you're at that level of celebrity status, a 10-minute flight and through a public airport can turn into like a 2-hour ordeal. But anyway, that prompted the people who track, private jets, like the people who track Elon Musk's jet, stuff like that, to look into, okay, who's really putting out the most pollution? And one of the top, or the top celebrity in this list at least, was Taylor Swift. And she flew something like 170 something flights throughout half of the year. You're like 60 flights away from one flight a year, and people were furious.
Okay, now,
yes.
was it Taylor Swift flying, or was it her jet was flying 170?
So it's her jet.
Her jet.
But she says she let some of her friends borrow it who don't have a jet.
Oh man, that must be nice.
It would be nice to be in that friend group. And
that's when you have a lot of money, right?
Oh yeah.
You're like, oh, you don't have a jet? You want to use my jet?
Yes.
I mean, that's where we all need to be one day, people.
So I feel for her a little bit, because I think there's just people like to pile on her. You know what I mean? People like to pick on her.
Always.
Bad.
Always.
Yeah.
I've met Taylor Swift and interviewed her several times. Let me tell you, sweetest person in person.
Mm-hmm.
Sweetest person. I think she got a bad rap earlier in her career because she would make these songs about relationships. And then on the other end, they would go, well, a woman can't make a song about a bad relationship, but guys make a living off of it. What's the double standard? So she got caught into that kind of fight, and she was putting all her personal business out there, which she can. She's an artist. Usher made a whole album called Confessions, where the whole album is about him cheating on his wife or girl or whatever she was.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can do that. And the biggest problem I had is when I was at the concert and my wife is screaming for all the songs he's singing about cheating on his significant other. She was like, these are my confessions. I was like, hold up. What you confessing, girl? No. Anyway, that's another story. We'll talk about that later. But my thing is with Taylor Swift, she gets a bad rap for a lot of things. And this is just, first of all, who looks up people's flights? That's all I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Who has the time to look up people's flights? What is wrong with you? If you have the time to scroll through Elon Musk flights, private flights, Taylor Swift private flights. Now, I understand what they're saying. They're saying they're trying to save the world, and these people attack them and say, no, you're not. Even though you're making all these cars that don't use certain gases, you're using it on a jet. I get the double standard they're throwing. But I would never have time to actually look through people's private jet files to see where they're taking off.
I think a lot of people are coming from the point of view of the climate when
Oh,
they're
100%.
looking at things like this. Yeah. So you can see how there's a whole lot of people who would like to collect that information. But their bigger problem, it's not Taylor Swift's like a great headline. You know what I mean? Their bigger problem isn't Taylor Swift. It's just super, super rich. Like the lifestyles of the super, super wealthy, very, very different.
And it's normal.
Than what
it's normal.
It's normal to them.
I have a private jet too. It's called Southwest. So what? There's 120 other people on it, but still.
Are we done with Taylor Swift? Does she need a reprimand about the private jet?
Look,
should she fly coach or should she fly Southwest?
No, if I was Taylor Swift, I would jump in my jet and double it. I'd be like, this is what I do. I'm Taylor Swift. I got money. You don't. I'm going to look, people confuse. If you're trying to, here's the problem with social media today. And it's a good problem. They have receipts. Anything you do, there's receipts now for it, right? So when people ask me questions on the radio, if I'm 100% not sure, because I don't want to be caught in an instance where you say something, and then they're like, well, you see all these receipts, and you're like, oh, and you're caught. Taylor Swift, if you're going to support green, you got to be honest. Like, yo, I support green, but I got a private jet. But I raise money for green, but I fly in my private jet. It's kind of people aren't honest. Like Perez Hilton was on the podcast.
Yes.
And it's a phenomenal episode. Go watch it. It's on the page right now. It's phenomenal. What I love about him is he's like, what I did was messed up. And I know it was messed up. Actually, it's so messed up, it's irredeemable. And I don't know if people will ever forgive me. Probably not. And they shouldn't. But I am sorry. So that's the way you apologize and own up to something.
Yeah.
You know,
you
if
gotta-
you mean it, if you mean
Mhm.
it, you think Taylor Swift or anybody with that much money cares about these little trolls telling them that they're flying around the country too much in their private jets when these people give millions of dollars to probably climate change or
Right.
green events? You know, it's not even close. So like Elon and all these people, they don't care. You can yell all day.